I want my child, just like other children, to stay alive. Everything we have seen and heard today is terrifying. The most terrifying part of all this is helplessness. You're willing to do everything to keep your son alive, but there is nothing you can do. I know what I'm talking about. I've experienced it firsthand in the war. I have seen those torn bodies with my own eyes. You can't even imagine the horror. While my son and I were hiding for weeks from the shelling in the basement, I lived every minute with the thought that this minute could be my boy's last. All around, there was nothing but horror and death. And all I could do was just to hold my son tighter and to make him feel less afraid. I remember it vividly. I'd held him very close to him. I could hear his heart beating. And I was terrified myself, terrified by the overwhelming feeling of helplessness. You can't even imagine what it's like. When I saw an airplane flying to take my son's life, I couldn't do anything about that. What could I do? Shield my son with my own body? But how would that help him? It wouldn't save him from the aerial bomb that would destroy half the block. All I could do was just watch that damn airplane and pray that my son would survive. This is the reality. Here it is. You know, before this, I was sure that if something happened suddenly, I could protect my child because I'm a dad. I should protect him. And I always could, but that's not true. That's my experience. You just heard it. My family, my son survived only because the warring sides agreed on a green corridor. But no one will make a deal with a volcano, with a wildfire, or a tornado for a green corridor. No one, no matter how much money or under what conditions, will rescue more living children from under the rubble of an earthquake. Look at the Turkey and Syria again. Just a few minutes. A few minutes of an earthquake and 50,000 people are buried under the rubble. And no green corridors. No one will sign a peace treaty with the climate. It's just impossible. When I lived in the war zone with my family, every single day, I mentally buried my son because I knew that the next second, the next day, could be the last one. Even right now, when my son goes to bed, I give him a very warm hug. Because I know that the next day may not come. Because I know I've seen many eyewitnesses. I have spoken with many eyewitnesses. And I know for sure that you can go to bed today and never wake up tomorrow. But still, after that, after my son falls asleep, I go and continue to spread information about what is happening with the climate right now in every possible way. Because I know that protecting my son is my responsibility. And as long as we're alive, we're obliged to act. Listen to me. It's better to look at the real facts of climate change right now than at your child's lifeless body later. Because when disaster comes to your home, in the form of earthquake, hurricane, flood, you won't be able to do anything to save your wife or your child. You just won't be able to do that. Right now, this moment, I want to address to every man, especially to those who are fathers or are going to become one in the nearest future. The fact that we have such a society in which neither our wives nor our children are protected is our fault. Our fault is that we remain silent about what's happening and close our eyes to it. Right now, when the safety of our wives and our children depends on us, depends on how quickly everyone learns the truth and demands a solution to the climate problem, we remain silent. How can we stay silent when we are talking about our families, when we're talking about our children? Because our families, they rely on us. Because they have no one else to rely on. They're relying on us, fathers. They're relying on us, men. Because it's our duty to protect. It's our duty to ensure that our children have future. It is our duty that our wives and our children are safe. It is our most important duty and responsibility. We're not bringing life to this world. This duty is given to our wives, mothers, sisters, and daughters. But our duty as men and fathers is to protect life. It's our responsibility.